As-Salāmu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi wahdah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dah. Ala man la nabiyya ba'dahu wa la ummata ba'da ummatihi wa la kitaba ba'da kitabih wa la shari'ata ba'da shari'atih. Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا صدق الله العظيم. Respected ulama, elders and brothers, we begin by praising Almighty Allah for the many favors Allah has bestowed upon us, and including amongst those favors is that Allah Ta'ala has gathered us here to listen to the kalam of Almighty Allah and about the Habib of our beloved Nabi of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We thank Allah Ta'ala for this favor, and we make dua that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us further favors by following the commands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and the sunnah of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We also send salutations upon our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the greatest of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's creation, our benefactor, and someone, despite our weakness, we have tremendous love for in our hearts. Normally, I always start off the talk by that famous poem which had been made famous by Junaid Jamshed. And I always like to say that because it starts off on a very good footing, that we will never be able to do justice in our speech and in our listening to the greatness of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Mustafa Mujtaba, Tere mad o thana, mere bas mein nahi, mere dastaras mein nahi. O Prophet of Almighty Allah, the chosen one, praising you is beyond us. Dil ko himmat nahi, lab ko yara nahi. The heart doesn't have the capacity, the words doesn't have the eloquence. Tutsa koi nahi, tutsa koi nahi. In short, there is no one like you. There is no one that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has favored and created like you. There is another, poem that has become very famous amongst the anashid. Now, I'm not a very good anashid, person who sings anashid, but this is something that has captured the imagination of many people. And I will try making mention of this beautiful nazam. हमने आँखों से देखा नहीं है मगर उनकी तस्वीर सीने में मौजूद है जिसने लाकर कलाम इलाही दिया वो मोहम्मद मदीने में मौजूद है. We have not seen our beloved Nabi with our eyes, but repeatedly making mention of him in these types of gatherings, we have some imagination of him, of his greatness in our hearts. He is the one who brought the kalam of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to us. That Nabi and that Muhammad is in the blessed city of Medina. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala increase and elevate the status of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam further. Respected elders and brothers, normally every seerah I choose a theme. Today I have chosen a theme with regard to what is known in history and in seerah as Amul Wufud, the year of delegation. Now many ulama and historians and people who have recorded seerah have recorded about the delegations that have come in the presence of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. People like Ibn Sa'd in his Tabaqat, Waqidi in his Maghazi, Ibn Ishaq, Ibn Hisham. The Indian scholar Abu Turab al-Zahiri has written a 250-page book on the delegations that came to our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the year of the delegations, which was in the 9th year after Hijri. Although the ninth year is known as the Amul Wufud, the year of delegation. Ulama have written that delegations came from the time of the 5th year after Hijri. But the frequency of them happened so much in the 9th year that it is known in the annals of Seerah as the year of delegations, because of the frequency and the amount of delegations that came in the presence of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ulama and historians have written that there were over 110 delegations that came in the presence of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yes, 110 delegations, over 110. Obviously, I don't have any intention to make mention of all of those 110. Be assured, be calm. I won't take all mention of all of them. So we will make mention of the more interesting and amazing and the ones that we have taken lessons from. 110 delegations. And of course, one of the things that we learn from these particular delegations coming in the presence of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, before I make mention of, the delegations and some of it, let us understand the background. You see, the Arab tribes and the Arab society was a very tribal society. They placed a lot of emphasis upon their tribes, and they used to place a lot of allegiance upon their tribes. So, when the Arab tribes, when they saw the Quraysh and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam hostile, they waited and said, let us wait and see who gains the ascendancy. Whoever gains the ascendancy, we will pay allegiance and we will show inclination to that particular amongst the two groups who gains the ascendancy. And after the Fatah Makkah, when they realized that the Muslims have gained the ascendancy, that's the time when the delegation started coming in the presence of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, what we learn from here, what lessons do we learn? 110 delegations. We learn lessons of diplomacy. We learn lessons of interaction. We learn lessons of how to deal with people. We learn lessons of the broad-mindedness of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in dealing with people from different backgrounds. And how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam dealt with different tribes. How they came in the presence of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam welcomed them. How Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, despite sometimes them being hostile, yet Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed them respect and honor. And really, if we start looking at some of the incidents, we come to realize that Deen is much more than the narrow confines that we have confined Deen to. Deen is much more than the narrow confines that we have confined Deen to. Now, what is a delegation? There were different types of delegation that came in the presence of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Delegations mean a tribe that sends a representation or a representative to meet Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on behalf of their tribe. Sometimes they came to accept Islam. Most of them came to accept Islam in the 9th year after Hijri. Something that is recorded in Surah An-Nasr. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. And you see tribes and tribes entering into Islam. But not all of them came to accept Islam. Some of them were hostile. They came with a corrupted intention and corrupt motives in the presence of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How did our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam deal with them? Some of them didn't come to accept Islam. But realizing that Muslims have gained the ascendancy, they came to negotiate peace with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the Muslims. And they came to negotiate ways of staying together in Hijaz, in the Arabian Peninsula. So these were different types of delegations. Sometimes there was only one person who came. Zammam ibn Tha'laba came on behalf of Bani Sa'd bin Abi Bakr. And he was one person who was equivalent to an ummah. He went back and his entire tribe accepted Islam by one representation, one representative. And ulama and historians said, perhaps there were very few people in history where one individual was so beneficial to his tribe the way this one individual was. Sometimes they came with 400, like the Muzayna tribe. 400 came in the presence of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Let me start off by making mention of some bizarre ones or the more hostile ones that came. And when we come to speak about the more hostile ones, we have to start off perhaps with the Banu Hanifa, who came from Yamama. And now, it's amazing. We always, sometimes our society is amazed, we generalize a lot. When we speak about some ethnic group, we form perceptions about them. When we form about and speak about a race group, we sometimes form a perception about them. Yet many a times within ethnic groups, within race groups, there is positive and negative. We cannot generalize with regard to any particular ethnic and race group. Now look at the aspect of Bani Hanifa. On one hand, you have from the Bani Hanifa comes Thamama bin Uthal. He was on his way for Umrah, he was arrested and he was captured, and he came into the Masjid al-Nabawi. And he was someone who was very hostile. And he was locked up in the Masjid al-Nabawi, in one of the pillars of Masjid al-Nabawi. Nabi Karim Sallallahu came to him and said, "Oh Thamama, how should I treat you?" And he said, "In taqtul dha damin." That, "Oh Muhammad, if you," he didn't accept Islam at that time still, "if you kill me, you will kill a person whose blood is very weighty." Ulama have given two interpretations with regard to it. One is that I am very well known in my tribe. If you kill me, my tribe will take revenge. Or in another way, he said that I have done so much of harm to you. Because he was on the way when Muslims were going towards Sham for business delegation. And he used to harm the Muslims. So he said, on one occasion, he said, "If you kill me, you have killed a person who has blood on his hands." Nevertheless, two interpretations. "And if you show kindness to me, you will show kindness to a person who is very, very thankful. And he will repay that kindness. And if you give and you want money with regard to my freedom, ask whatever you want. Allah has given me resources. I will give you whatever you want." Nabi Karim Sallallahu left him for 3 days to see the environment of the Muslims in the masjid. And left him. After 3 days, Nabi Karim Sallallahu came, unlocked him and said, "Thamama, go, you are freed." Thamama goes outside Medina and he comes back and he accepts Islam. 3 days of seeing the conduct of Muslims was enough for him to become a Muslim. Brothers, I wonder today, if people were to see our conduct, will they be inclined towards Islam or will they turn away from Islam? Unfortunately, we will say, we don't present a good advertisement for our religion in the way we carry ourselves and the way we conduct ourselves amongst ourselves. 3 days in a masjid, he became a Muslim. And what did he tell Nabi Karim Sallallahu, "Oh Muhammad, 1 week ago there was no one more hated than you. Today I take an oath, there is no one more beloved in my eyes than you," after 3 days of witnessing the conduct of Nabi Karim Sallallahu. From this particular tribe comes Musaylama Kadhab, Musaylama the liar. He became and he claimed prophethood after our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu. He also came in the delegation. When he came in the delegation, he came with 2 or 3 of his people, and he came and he made demands with our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu, outrageous demands. "O Muhammad, make me your Khalifa and Prophet after you pass away. I will accept and I will become a Muslim. Otherwise," he said, "you take care of one portion of Arabia, I will take care of another portion of Arabia." Nabi Karim Sallallahu went with a Sahabi, Thabit bin Qais al-Shammas, and Nabi Sallallahu had a date portion of a date palm or a walking stick. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu said, "Never mind giving you what you want, I won't even give you the stick." And he went away from there saying, "I will get my tribe to come and attack you," making all different types of allegations and outrageous demands and threats. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam left him, and Nabi Sallallahu said, "This is the same person that I saw in a dream about him." And what was a dream? Nabi Karim Sallallahu said, "I saw in a dream that I had 2 gold bangles. And given the fact that 2 gold bangles, something that is prohibited, I felt uncomfortable. And I started blowing on those gold bangles and they disappeared. And the interpretation were there were two imposters that will come immediately after Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they will be destroyed. One was Musaylama Kadhab and one was Aswad Ansi from Yemen. He came and he wrote a letter to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam after that. When he wrote a letter to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, half of the kingdom is yours and half is mine, and we share the prophethood. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wrote back a letter to him, Salamun ala man ittaba al-huda. Salam be upon those who follow guidance. And innal arda yurithuha liman yasha'u min ibadih. The earth belongs to Almighty Allah. He will give control to the earth whomsoever He wished. And of course we know Musaylama Kadhab, after Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's time, one of the first battles that the Sahaba fought was against Musaylama Kadhab. So many Sahaba were shaheed in this battle that did not pass away in the entire life of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And there's always been the sensitivity of this ummah to guard the finality of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's prophethood. How many times I heard from my marhum uncle, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill his qabr with Nurul. He used to make mention of the incident of Maulana Anwar Shah Kashmiri. And today while just going through the notes, I went through this whole incident. That there was a very famous trial in Bahawalpur against the Qadianis who claim a prophet after Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Maulana Anwar Shah Kashmiri Rahmatullah Alayhi was ill, very ill. There was blood oozing from his body. And he was traveling somewhere and he got a letter. We need your expertise to come to this particular trial. He left everything and despite his illness, he went to Bahawalpur. And his lecture in Bahawalpur Masjid is recorded when he told the people, I came for one reason. I do not have enough amal and deeds for my salvation. I came that perhaps my coming in this illness of mine will be the means of my salvation on the day of Qiyamah, that I will be able to tell our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, your prophethood was under attack. And despite my illness, I came to be able to defend your prophethood so that I can be saved and be amongst the people of Jannah on the day of Qiyamah. So this was the Bani Hanifa. Together with that, there was another tribe who was also hostile by the name of Bani, the Banu Amr bin Sa'sab. They were part of the people who were from Bir Ma'una. Now two of them came, one of them was Amir bin Tufail and Arbad bin Qais. So the more hostile amongst them was Amir bin Tufail. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made dua when he saw him, Allahumma kfini Amir bin Tufail. Oh Allah, protect me from Amir bin Tufail. And ulama have written, there's also one of the sunnah duas that you can read. Allahumma kfini min fulan. Oh Allah, protect me from so and so. If you have a person who is your enemy. So Amir bin Tufail told Arbad that I will engage Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in conversation. You take a sword or a dagger, he put a poison dagger, you attack Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and assassinate him. And while he was doing that, it didn't happen as he planned. So afterwards he told Arbad, what happened? I told you to carry out this plan. What did you do? Arbad said, every time I wanted to go and do something like that, there was a barrier between me and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I could not carry out my plans. So they left behind him. They made outrageous demands and they said various things. So Amir bin Tufail on his way back stayed at the house of a woman of ill repute. So while he was at that particular house, an epidemic came upon him, a plague. And there were started great boils that came upon his body. So he found it very difficult that if people find me and I die in this woman's place, a woman of ill repute, it will be against my dignity. So in the early hours of the morning, he mounted his camel and he left. And no one knew after that what happened to him. He disappeared. Arbad went back to his tribe, said inappropriate words about Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And a lightning came and incinerated him. And he died on the spot. So these were the type of tribes that came in the presence of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One of the greatest tribe was the tribe of Muzayna. They came with 400 people. So as they were going away, they said, Ya Rasulullah, we don't have enough sufficient food for our journey back. Make arrangements for our food. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Umar ibn Khattab, Oh Umar, make arrangements for their food. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala said, Ya Rasulullah, I only got one packet of dates in my house. How am I going to cater for 400 people? So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam again said, Oh Umar, make arrangements for their provision to go back. Umar said, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said it with such conviction, I knew that there was something beyond my understanding. I went home in that particular room, in that place where there was one packet. In that room, it seemed there was like a camel full of dates. Everyone took how much they wanted. And when the last person came out of their room with the dates, how much he wanted, the room was still filled with dates. This was a tribe of Muzayna that came in the presence of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sometimes we have the situation not related to this incident. There was once upon a husband and wife invited people for a gathering. So when they invited people for a gathering, all of a sudden the wife came and told the husband, you know what, there's something greatly wrong. The amount of people we have invited, there are far more people than that. I'm not sure if the food is going to be enough or not. I don't know what we're going to do. So the husband said, just leave it to me. Husband made an announcement. All of those who are in this da'wat on behalf of the bride, get up. So a few groups of people got up. After a while, all of those who are here on behalf of the husband, you get up. All of them got up. The husband said that all of you leave. This is an Aqiqah da'wat. This is not a wedding da'wat. This is a Aqiqah da'wat. So sometimes you have these situations. Then one of them that came, very amazing. This came very in the initial stages of Islam. The tribe of Daws. Now initially, only one person came. And he didn't come as a tribe. He didn't come as a delegation. He was Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi. A remarkable person in the annals of our history. Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi. And this has very far repercussions in our deen, my dear respected brothers. Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi came to Makkah, very dignified person. Someone who was known for his dignity, known for his charitable philanthropy, for his generosity. People throughout Arabia knew about Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi. So he was known for his good virtues and his remarkable conduct and character. Also a very remarkable, sharp and sensitive poet, capable of expressing the most delicate of emotions. He narrates his incident of coming to Makkah. He said as he came to Makkah, the tribe and the elders of Makkah said, we got a person who is calling people towards his prophethood. He is someone who has renounced the old religion. Be careful of listening to him. They were worried that anything mustn't hear and come into his ears. So Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi said, I put a cotton wool in my ears, I must not listen to him. So he said, while I was making my tawaf according to that particular rituals of the time, all of a sudden I saw Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he was reading something. And I continued making. And then while I'm making the tawaf, I said, Tufail, you are an intelligent person. You are a poet. What can a person do? What can a person say that you will not be able to discern right from wrong? He said, after I did my tawaf, I went to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Oh Muhammad, the people have told me not to listen to you. Tell me what is your message. Read to me what is your message. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam read Suratul Ikhlas, Suratul Falaq and Suratul Nas. It was enough to change his entire life. Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi became a Muslim. And he went back to his tribe. When he went back to his tribe, he first went to his father and said, see, we have a separation between us. We have different religions from now on. Why is the separation? Oh, my son, what is the separation for? You are on a different religion. I am a different religion. Father said, your religion is my religion. Tell me what is your religion. He related to him. The father became a Muslim. He told his wife, we have separation from now. He said, why? I got a different religion. Your religion is my religion. And he told her, go and take a bath and make ghusl, but don't take a bath from water dedicated to the idol of the tribe. Go and take a bath with clean water. She takes a bath and she also becomes a Muslim. Brothers, I'm just giving you this example. Never trivialize anything. Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi became a Muslim. He tried to, call his people towards Islam. And initially they were not inclined. He came several times. He came even at the time of Khaybar to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And when he came at the time of Khaybar, he brought one youngster who was 13 years of age at that time. Who was that youngster? Can anyone know who was from that youngster who came from this particular tribe? Anyone would like to venture to give the name? Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Abu Hurairah said, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Tufail, what is happening with your tribe, Ya Rasulullah? There is a barrier on their hearts. They are not accepting Islam. I have tried so many times. Abu Hurairah said, I saw Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam making wuzu. And he lifted his hands in dua. And I thought he's going to curse my tribe. And he said, Allahumma hadi those. Oh Allah, give hidayat to those. Maulana Sajjad Nomani, who was here recently, said, our hearts and our inclination and our temperament is not like our Nabi. We make dua, and if things are happening according to us, we will say after Fajr, Allah must destroy the entire one side of the world, Allah must destroy them. After Zohar, Allah must destroy another nation. After Asr, Allah must destroy another nation. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma hadi those. Oh Allah, give hidayah to those. And he went back and the tribe of those became a Muslim. But I'm saying, from this tribe comes Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. 5,374 hadith and sayings of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam he has transmitted. Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu ta'ala says, I one day went to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, make dua that Allah gives us such knowledge that after we get that knowledge, we never forget it. Make dua that once we get knowledge, we never forget it. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, O Zayd, the slave of those has overtaken you. The slave of those, Abu Hurairah, has overtaken you. I made dua for him that whatever he memorizes, he will never forget. Abu Hurairah said, I came to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, I can't retain things. Make dua. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take out your shawl. He took out his shawl. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam read something. He said, put your shawl on. He said, after I put that shawl, never ever did I forget anything. No one had a better retentive memory than Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. One person came to Makkah, became a Muslim. And after he became a Muslim, he gave dawah to his tribe. And from that particular tribe comes Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who the entire ummah is indebted to for the amount of sayings that he had transmitted to this ummah. Don't ever trivialize a good deed. Don't ever trivialize giving someone a good message. Don't ever trivialize telling someone something. You don't know where that particular good deed and good saying you told him, where one day it might have consequences. So this was the tribe of Daws. You have amongst them the tribe of Bani Asad bin Khuzaymah. Very amazing tribe. 10 people came. So they came and they came in the presence of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we are amongst those that you didn't need to send anyone from your Sahaba, your companions, your representative to us. Without sending anyone to us, we have become Muslims. So they showed a certain degree of a favor to Allah and His Rasul and to Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on this occasion, maybe they had their reasons. At the end of the day, they were Muslims still. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse in the Holy Quran. يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا قُلْ لَا تَمُنُّوا عَلَيَّ إِسْلَامَكُمْ بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكُمْ أَنْ هَدَاكُمْ لِلْإِيمَانِ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Don't regard it as a favor that you have accepted Islam. But it is Allah who has done a favor to you, that He has made you Muslims. It is Allah's favor upon you that you are in Islam, you are a Muslim. Don't show a favor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are Muslim. I am a Muslim. I have done so much. I will have granted so much of favor and so much of benefit to Islam. Ya Allah, Allah ta'ala, for His deen can use even transgressors. Allah doesn't need us. It is our favor. It is our good fortune if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses us in any way for any benefit of deen. Who are you to show a favor to Allah that you are doing a work of deen? Who are you to show a favor to Allah ta'ala? I am doing so much work. If I am not here, nothing will happen. If I don't do anything, the entire world is not according to the right path. I'm only upon the right path. If I'm not here, there will be no one upon the right path. How dare you say something like this? يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا. Do you show a favor to Allah Ta'ala about your Islam? About your work of deen? It is Allah's favor that He takes work from you. We make dua that Allah Ta'ala take work from us. Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the general of an army. Such a general that we can say with certainty that never mind in Islam, there has never been a better general in human history than Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Never. And then Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu had a particular thought, and he removed Khalid radiallahu ta'ala anhu from the generalship of the Muslim army. And he had a view. He said, everyone is saying that wherever Khalid goes, Islam gains victory. I wanted to show people that whether Khalid is there or not, victory for Islam comes from Allah. Doesn't come from any individual, no matter if he's as great as Khalid bin Walid. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. Even when Nabi Karim ﷺ threw the sand in the direction of the enemies in the battle of Badr, which had a tremendous impact, which changed the course of the battle, Allah Ta'ala didn't refer that to Nabi Karim ﷺ. Allah Ta'ala referred it to Himself. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. So Umar radiallahu anhu wanted to prove and said, I don't want this, that people must say because of Khalid, Islam has gained victory. And then he removed Khalid bin Walid radiallahu ta'ala. Someone went to tell Khalid bin Walid after that, you are no more the general, you are no more the leader. You know, why are you still fighting in the Muslim army? He said, I'm not fighting for Umar, I'm fighting for Allah. I'm not fighting for Umar. So what if he has removed me? I will still fight for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا قُلْ لَا تَمُنُّوا عَلَيَّ إِسْلَامَكُمْ بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكُمْ أَنْ هَدَاكُمْ لِلْإِيمَانِ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. One of the amazing tribes that came was the tribe of Abul Qais. This is also amazing because you see that it is said history that they came from Bahrain. Now, today we know Bahrain is an island, next to the Arabian Peninsula. This is an island of the mainland. But normally when they used to talk about the Abul Qais, that they came from the eastern side of Arabia. They came from the eastern side of Arabia. So many of the cities in Saudi Arabia, in today's time, Saudi Arabia, Dammam, etc., they would fall under this tribe of Abul Qais. So they came and said, Nabi Karim ﷺ made mention of them and said, one of the greatest people of the east are coming towards you. And Nabi Karim ﷺ praised the people coming from the east. And Sahaba were waiting for them. Sahaba were looking forward to their coming. One Sahabi actually went with his camel, with his horse, actually going fast to go and see that I can meet them. And he saw them. And he came quickly to give glad tidings of our beloved Nabi Karim ﷺ. This was also the temperament of the Sahaba. They wanted to be the first to give glad tidings to our beloved Nabi Karim ﷺ. So when they came in their eagerness to meet Nabi Karim ﷺ, the entire tribe, they rushed in the presence of Nabi Karim ﷺ. They rushed in the presence of Nabi Karim ﷺ, except one person. His name was Mundir. He was known as Ashhaj bin Qais. The word Ashhaj was not his name. Ashhaj means the one who is wounded. And he had a wound on his forehead. Therefore, he was known as Ashhaj bin Qais. So what he did was, he packed everyone's belongings. And he put everyone's camel on his right place. He took a bath. And he made himself presentable. And then he came in the presence of our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam liked his action more than the action of the entire clan. Now you and I would say, look at the entire clan. So much of love. They couldn't even wait to put their baggage correctly. They couldn't even wait to put the camels, etc. properly. They just rushed out of love to meet Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked the action of Ashhaj bin Qais. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, "Inna fika khaslatayn yuhibbuhumullah." Oh Ashhaj, there are two qualities of yours Allah loves. There are two qualities of yours Allah Ta'ala loves. Al-hilm wal-anat. One is hilm and one is anat, clemency and tolerance. One is hilm, to do things, have tolerance. And one is to do things in a calm and collected manner. Al-ujlatu min al-shaytan wal-inatu min al-rahman. To do things in haste is from shaitan. To do things in a calm, collected manner with planning is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then amazingly, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam started speaking to them. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam engaged them. So they made mention, Ya Rasulullah, we have a difficulty. We are far away from Medina. There is a tribe of Mudar, which is very hostile to us. And therefore we cannot come as frequently as we want to Medina because of the strife being between us and Medina. The only reason and the only time we can come is in Ashur Hajj. Ashur Haram. There are 4 months that the Arabs never used to fight. So at that time, and that you see the wisdom of, the sacred months. So they used to come and no one used to attack them because it was prohibited according to the Arab customs to fight. Then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam started speaking to them more. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what type of dates do you have in your region? And they made mention that we have the Al-Ta'adud dates, the Al-Sarafan dates. And then they spoke about Barni. And then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Barni is a date which is very juicy and it yields very good crops. And they used to say that Barni was a kajur and a date that we never used to pay much attention to. We used to normally give it to our animals. After we came back from our journey, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about the dates. We used to yield it and it gave us great amount of barakah. This was our beloved of our the greatness of our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was speaking to people about their situation. Hazrat Zayd ibn Arqam radiallahu anhu makes mention of a hadith which is in Shama'il al-Tirmidhi. إِذَا ذَكَرْنَا الطَّعَامَ ذَكَرَهُ مَعَنَا. That when in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we spoke with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam about food, he spoke to us about food. When we spoke to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam about dunya, he spoke to us about dunya. When we speak to our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam about akhirat, he spoke to us about the akhirat. This was the pleasant nature of our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where do we get this narrow-mindedness the moment you speak about something, this is haram, this is haram? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's way was speaking with love and kindness, speaking to the people about, the doings, understanding the challenges of people, not sitting in ivory towers and being aloof from the challenges of people. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke to people. He spoke to them pleasantly. He came to understand their challenges. This was amongst the great, qualities of our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are many. I will try and, cut down and just make mention of few of them. One of the prominent tribes that came was the tribe of Najran. Now the tribe of Najran that came, they were a Christian tribe. So when they came, their leader was Abu Haritha bin Alqamah, who was considered an authority on the Christian faith, and they used to keep ties with the Roman Empire. He used to be the one who used to give them, news about the Christianity in Najran. So anyway, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when they came, this will surprise you, my dear respected brothers. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam put up a tent for them outside Masjid al-Nabawi. And the way you and I, we make arrangements for Jamaats who come to our masjid, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made arrangements for their meals. And then they came, interesting, in the long incident how they came, I won't go into that detail. But when they came at the time of Maghrib, and in their tents, they started worshipping according to their rites, according to their religion. So Sahaba felt uncomfortable. Ya Rasulullah, they are worshipping according to that particular way, and they are facing in a different direction from where we normally face Makkah. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, leave them the way they are praying. Leave them the way they are making their ibadat. Leave them. The next day they came and they engaged Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hazrat Maulana Idris Kandilwi Rahmatullah Alayhi in Siratul Mustafa has written some beautiful, engagement, how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam engaged them. They came with 60 people. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started asking them about the divinity of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam questioned them. He spoke to them in a friendly manner. And this particular aspect took place in the masjid. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke to them. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, asked them questions. Like for example, he asked them and he said, normally a son resembles the father. So if Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the son of Allah Ta'ala, are you saying he resembles Allah? So they were taken aback. Then they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full control over the entire universe. Does Isa alayhi salatu wasalam have similar type of control? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need food and drink. Does Isa alayhi salatu wasalam need food and drink? And if he needs food and drink, can he be divine? Mal Masih ibn Maryam illa Rasul qad khalat min qablihi ar-rusul wa ummuhu siddiqah kana yakulan at-ta'am. Masih ibn Maryam is a Rasul of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before that, there were many prophets that came before him. His mother was very truthful. Kana yakulan at-ta'am. They both used to eat food. How can someone who is in need of food for existence, how can they be divine? How can they be Allah? How can they be divine? Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam engaged them. They didn't have answers. But despite the fact that they didn't have answers, they were not prepared to accept Islam. So then Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, we will make mubahala with you. So one of the questions they asked Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that normally everyone has a father. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam didn't have a father. How do you explain that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Holy Quran, Inna mathala Isa, inna Allahi kamathali Adam. Inna mathala Isa, inna Allahi kamathali Adam. Khalaqahu min turab, thumma qala lahu kun fayakun. So if Isa alayhi salatu wasalam didn't have a father, Allah ta'ala created Adam alayhi salatu wasalam without both father and mother. Allah Ta'ala created them and Allah Ta'ala says, come, and they became. It is a qudrat of Allah. So if you say that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is divine because of that, what about Adam alayhi salatu wasalam? So when they didn't have any answers, then the last resort is mubahala. Mubahala means you invoke curses. When two people are at odds with one another with regard to an argument and with regard to an aspect of deen, you have a situation and said, La'natullahi ala al-kadhibin. Allah's curses and Allah Ta'ala's damnation come upon the one who is a liar. So then, the next morning, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came with Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, Hazrat Hassan and Hussein under his shawl. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam walked towards Masjid al-Nabawi to make mubahala. And such was the nur that was upon Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that even these people who are not Muslims, they realized that if we are going to go into this particular situation, we are going to become destroyed. And amongst them, they made mashwara and said, don't go into mubahala, you will be destroyed. Don't go into mubahala, don't go and invoke curses upon the one who is on wrong. You are going to be destroyed. They reached a peace treaty, a peace agreement, and there's many clauses with regard to that peace treaty, which I will not go into because of lack of time. So this was the tribe of Najran. One of the amazing tribes that came was the tribe of Ashariyin. There are many, I made mention of about 10, 11, but I'm going to make mention of two more and conclude the talk. One was the tribe of the Ashariyin who came from Yemen. And when they came, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam spoke very highly about them. And what Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Atakum ahl al-Yaman, hum arakku af'idah wa alyanu qulubah." That the tribe of Yemen is coming to you. They are extremely soft-hearted, and they are very soft-hearted, and they are very soft in their hearts. And Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-imanu yaman wal-hikmatu yamaniyah." Iman is in Yemen, and wisdom is yamaniyah. Wisdom is also in Yemen. May Allah make it easy for the people of Yemen. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam made so much dua for them. Allahumma barik lana fi Shamina wa Yemen. Oh Allah, bless Sham and Yemen. This is a time when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for Sham and Yemen when they were not even Muslims. Oh Allah, bless us in Sham and bless the Yemen. And they came Muslims after that. But Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew the blessedness of this place. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for them even before they became Muslims. Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu ta'ala, Ash'ari from Ash'ariyin. He was from amongst this tribe. So Muslims were all waiting with regard to this particular tribe. So when they came, and they're talking about arakku af'ida wa alyanu quluban, I must make mention of this. So while reading on this tribe, I read Maulana Idris Kandelwi rahmatullah alayhi's work, and Maulana Idris Kandelwi rahmatullah alayhi writes, and I'm going to quote him verbatim. In his Siratul Mustafa, he writes, Rikkate qalb tamam balayon ka sar chasma hai, aur kasawate qalb tamam burayon ki jar hai. Softness of heart is the foundation of all good. Softness of heart is the foundation of all good, except perhaps in South Africa. What Hazrat Muhammad Isabs rahmatullah alayhi says, Rikkate qalb hi tamam balaiyon ka sar chasma hai. Softness of heart, showing kindness to people. Where do we have this situation? Nowadays it's almost as if it is presented. Alhamdulillah, our ummah is becoming more discerning. It is almost as if presented, the more vulgar you are, the more pious you are. This is what our ulama have written. Softness of heart is the foundation of all good. And hardness of heart is the means of all evil. So this was a tribe of Ashariyin. They came in the presence of our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's also another very interesting incident, and you get all these tidbits that come. Imran ibn Hussein radiallahu anhu said, I was sitting with our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they asked questions. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, tell us about the beginning of time. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam started speaking to them about the beginning of time. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, first there was Allah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's throne was on water. And Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling them about the beginning of time. And said, Imran ibn Hussein said, while I was listening to this hadith, someone said, Imran, your camel has fled. So Imran said, because the camel fleeing that time was a very difficult thing, because once a camel flee, where do you go and fetch a camel? So he said, I ran from the masjid and I ran after the camel. And he said, to my misfortune, I didn't get the camel and I didn't even get the hadith. I didn't get the camel also fled. When I came back, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam had finished the hadith. Those people went back. History didn't record what Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them after that. And lastly, let me make mention of one of the most prominent tribes that came was the tribe of Thaqif. The tribe of Thaqif, last year we made mention of Hunayn, and we will make mention with regard to the tribe of Thaqif. This was also amazing. They were the وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنُ عَلَى رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرْيَتَيْنِ عَزِيمٍ. Why didn't they complain? Why didn't this Quran come upon, people from two major cities and the two major tribes, Quraysh and the Thaqif, Makkah and Taif? So it was one of the most prominent tribes. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the battle of Hunayn, we all know last year we made mention of it, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam laid siege upon them. The siege didn't materialized exactly as planned. Nabi Karim Sallallahu told the Sahaba, let us leave. Don't let us do the siege. Sahaba said, no, Ya Rasulullah, let us do the siege. Immediately then they did the siege. Now amongst the people of Thaqif was one of the most famous amongst them was Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi. Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi was a towering person of the tribe of Thaqif. Legendary figure. And of course he was coming for Umrah when the Muslims were coming for Umrah also, and they were in Hudaybiyah. And the Quraysh asked him to go and negotiate on behalf of the Quraysh. That means they had such good relationship. And they made Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi to go and negotiate on behalf of the Quraysh. So Urwa bin Mas'ud went to go and negotiate with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, trying to bring the two together. And during the course of his negotiating with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he caught the beard of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now at times out of love and muhabbat, and trying to bring people together, you catch the beard. So Urwa bin Mas'ud caught the beard of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Mughira bin Shu'bah took out his sword. And he said, you dare do this to our Nabi one more time, you will return without your hand. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he said, who is this? He didn't make him out. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, he is your nephew Mughira bin Shu'bah. He is your nephew, Urwa bin Mas'ud's nephew. Because they couldn't make him out because he was a turban and he had his beard. So he said, I'm still paying for an error of yours. Mughira bin Shu'bah, before Islam, had killed a person by mistake and he was paying the blood money. I'm still paying for you and this is what you do. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam protected Mughira bin Shu'bah. Nevertheless, Urwa bin Mas'ud, when he went, after that, when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was met, Urwa bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu followed Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he became a Muslim. And when he became a Muslim, he said, Ya Rasulullah, allow me to go and give Islam to my tribe. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, we had just come back from a war with Thaqif. Take it easy. Give some time. But he was so passionate. And many times when people become Muslim, they have this passion to be able to share the truth that they had. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did tell him to exercise caution, but he was so passionate that he wanted to go and going to go and give the people of the da'wat of Islam. So Urwa bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu went to go and give the da'wat of Islam to his tribe after he accepted Islam. And they didn't take kindly towards it. And immediately when he came, he stood on top of his house to call the azan for Fajr. And someone took an arrow and they killed and they martyred Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi. And when he was, hit by the arrow, he was on the last moments of his life. And when he was on the last moments of his life, they said, his tribe said, his people said, we are going to take revenge and we are going to find out the culprit. And look at what Iman does. And Urwa bin Mas'ud said, I don't want any revenge. I don't want any blood money. I want you to forgive the person who has done this to me. Only thing I want is, bury me amongst the shuhada of Hudaybiyah. Not Hudaybiyah, Hunain. The people who passed away in Hunain amongst the Muslims, where they are buried, bury me there. Subhanallah. Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Thaqafi. When Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam heard about it, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Urwa bin Mas'ud is like Ale Yasin. He is like Ale Yasin. Ya qawm ittabi'ul mursaleen. Ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajraw wa hum mu'tadun. Habib Najjar, the carpenter who told his people, accept the prophets of Almighty Allah who are calling you towards the truth. And they killed Habib Najjar. And he, after going into Jannah, he said, قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ قَالَ يَا لَيْتَ قَوْمِي يَعْلَمُونَ. Oh Allah, tell my people that how you have shown me respect, and because of my becoming a Muslim and accepting Islam, show them even after they have killed him. Even after they martyred him, he wanted Allah Ta'ala to show them the reward he is getting after becoming shaheed and being killed by them. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Urwa bin Mas'ud, he is like Ale Yasin. Nevertheless, they felt a sense of guilt and they came with 6 people to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the tribe of Thaqif. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was fighting with the Thaqif, one day Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, curse the Thaqif. They have caused us great amount of inconvenience. Hunayn, initially Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the Muslims suffered setback and loss of life. Even in the siege, they suffered loss of life. Ya Rasulullah, make dua for them. Curse them. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lifted up his hands. Allahumma hdi thaqifan wa'ti bihim muslimin. Oh Allah, give hidayah to Thaqif and bring them to me as Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was supposed to bring about the fulfillment of the dua of our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Mughira bin Shu'bah is from the same tribe. Right? Mughira bin Shu'bah, as you know from that hadith and that incident of Hudaybiyah, when he saw them, he rushed to go and tell Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, Thaqif has come. On the way he met Hazrat Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu saw, Mughira bin Shu'bah hurrying. Mughira, where you are going? I'm going to give the glad tidings to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that Thaqif is coming as a tribe, as a delegation. Abu Bakr tells Mughira, will you give me permission to give the glad tidings to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Look at the Sahaba, subhanallah. And Abu Bakr bin Shusab, by all means, oh Abu Bakr, you go and give the glad tidings. Long incident. They came and when they came in presence of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they wanted to become Muslims, but they wanted to bring all different types of demands and compromises. They said, we are not prepared to do jihad. We are not prepared to leave alcohol. Alcohol was in the veins of the Arabs before Islam came. We are not prepared. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam rejected all of their demands. No, I'm not. Then they said, we are not prepared to make salat. Compromise. We will become Muslims. We will not read salat. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, La khayra fi deenin la salata lah. What good is there in deen in which there is no namaz? What good is there in deen if there is no namaz? Then they had, of course, Lat was the idol. The second biggest idol in Arabia was Lat after Hubal. Allow us some time with regard to Lat. Give us some time. We will not give us some, they said 3 years. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said no. Then they said 1 year, no. 1 month, no. No compromise. لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَتَنَّ عَمَلَكَ. If you associate partners to Allah, all your deeds are gone. No compromise even for a day. The only compromise Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did with them was, and they agreed upon that, they said, Ya Rasulullah, the only one thing we ask you, send someone to come and destroy Lat. We can't do it because we have been worshipping that idol for so long. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, okay, I will send someone. And who did Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam send? Ya Allah. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and also let me just make mention, during the course, while those particular, the tribe was there was a young Sahabi by the name of Uthman bin al-As al-Thaqafi. So while they were negotiating all of this, he left all of that negotiation. He went to Abu Bakr, he went to the Sahaba to learn Quran. So while they were doing all of that, he was learning Quran. And as Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent the tribe away, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made Uthman bin al-As, because he learned the Quran, the Imam of Thaqif. Subhanallah. See, sometimes you get an opportunity. He realized the opportunity. They were becoming close. They were negotiating. They will need an Imam. He went and learned the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him the Imam. So then eventually Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came and said, okay, I will send 2 people. And who did Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam send? Abu Sufyan and Mughira bin Shu'bah. Abu Sufyan, who was the leader of the Quraysh, just a year back, who used to worship idols, and he is in the forefront now to go and destroy Lat. And Mughira bin Shu'bah, a very interesting incident. Mughira bin Shu'bah was a person who had a little bit of a type of a nature towards, a certain degree of light-hearted nature. So Mughira bin Shu'bah, when he came, and he was, when he came to destroy Lat, and as he picked up his chopper to, did the first thing, as he hit Lat, he went down as if he is unconscious and dying. And all of the people said, you see, we told you so. We told you not to harm the Lat. And he got up laughing. He said, what can this particular idol do? So this was the hand. So my dear respected brothers, I can give so many different, I do talk about the tribe of Azd. Such a beautiful incident with regard to the tribe of Azd. I've been told to speak till 9 o'clock. So alhamdulillah, it is 9 o'clock, so we will conclude the talk. I can just, this, when I did it myself, I was just amazed. Look at the wisdom of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Look at the way Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam treated people. Look at how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam negotiated, how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam dealt with different people. My dear respected brothers, I asked you again, even when Thaqif came, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made a tent for them outside and said, let them see us reading Quran and reading Salat. I'm not giving any fatwa. Right? The way we make arrangements for Jamaats to come, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made arrangements for them to come. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made a tent for them to come and listen and see how the Muslims are. I'm not giving any fatwa whether we should do it or not. That is maybe the ulama to decide. I'm just making mention of what history says. This is how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam dealt with them. That's how they became Muslims. Do we have a similar nature? Do we have a similar passion? Do we have a similar, degree of interacting with people? These are just some of the instances which I have put forward in front of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq of understanding and making amal. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك اللهم لك الحمد كما أنت أهله فصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم كما أنت أهله وافعل بنا كما أنت أهله فإنك أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه كلما ذكره الذاكرون وصل على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه كلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الموصوف بأفضل الأخلاق والشيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم كان لا تنتهك في مجالسه الحرم ولا يغضي عمن ظلم اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم مغفرتك أوسع من ذنوبنا ورحمتك أرجى عندنا من أعمالنا اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أعلنا وما أسررنا وما أسرفنا وما أنت أعلم به منا أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر لا إله إلا أنت اللهم ثبتنا على الإيمان وأمتنا على الإيمان واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع المتقين مع الإيمان اللهم اجعل نبينا لنا فرطا وحوضه لنا موردا اللهم احشرنا في زمرته واستعملنا بسنته وتوفنا على ملته واجعلنا من حزبه اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك وغضبك والنار اللهم إن قلوبنا ونواسينا وجوارحنا بيدك لم تملكنا منها شيئا فإذا فعلت ذلك بنا فكن أنت ولينا واهدنا إلى سواء السبيل اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك وحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك وحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم استر عوراتنا وآمن روآتنا اللهم احفظنا وأولادنا من بين أيدينا ومن خلفنا وعن أيماننا وعن شمائلنا ومن فوقنا ونعوذ بعزمتك أن نغتال من تحتنا رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا يا الله يا أرحم الراحمين يا أول الأولين يا آخر الآخرين يا راحم الضعفاء والمساكين Ya Allah, forgive all our shortcomings, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are full of sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, is not worthy of us to bring the name of yours and the name of your beloved Habib upon our tongue, given our sins, Ya Allah. It is not worthy of us to listen to the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to your kalam and about your beloved Habib, Ya Allah. It is only your good favor, Ya Allah, that you give us the opportunity to listen to your kalam, Ya Allah, and to speak about your beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ya Allah, forgive our shortcomings, make us worthy of speaking and listening to your kalam and about your beloved Habib, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we have a situation that we are weak, Ya Allah. We have great amount of weakness, Ya Allah. We have committed so many gunas. We have committed so many sins in broad daylight, as if, Ya Allah, we were rebelling against you, Ya Allah. We were not worried about you, Ya Allah. Sometimes away from the gazes of people, Ya Allah. But you are aware of our actions. Ya Allah, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. Ya Allah, you are aware of each and every one of our actions. Ya Allah, there is nothing that we can hide in front of you, Ya Allah. You know each and every one of our actions. You know what crosses our minds and our hearts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, forgive all our sins. Our sins are many, but they bear no comparison to your mercy. Allahumma maghfiratuka awsa'u min dhunubina. Oh Allah, your maghfirat is far more vast and greater than our sins. Your beloved Habib told us, Ya Allah, that even if the sins of human being reaches to the extent up to the heavens and to the extent of the foam in the ocean, Ya Allah, and they ask of you for forgiveness, you will forgive. Fala ubali. And it would be very easy for you to forgive. It would mean nothing for you to forgive, Ya Allah. Allah, we ask of you collectively, Ya Allah, all of us in this gathering, Ya Allah, this Mubarak and this great gathering, Ya Allah, who have come to listen, Ya Allah, who have been motivated and inspired by the love of your beloved Habib, Ya Allah, by the love of your deen, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, all of us, Ya Allah, we come and we sincerely regret all of the wrongs that we have done, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you forgive us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us your mercy, Ya Allah. Grant us your forgiveness. Grant us hidayat. Grant us tawfiq of doing righteous deeds. Keep us away from ill deeds. Ya Allah, let us die upon the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ya Allah, grant us your favor. Ya Allah, in Jannat, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, let us drink water at the hands of your beloved Habib on the pond of Kawthar, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, let us get the company of your beloved Habib Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Jannah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us Jannatul Firdaus, not because we are worthy of it, but Ya Allah, solely because, Ya Allah, of your grace, Ya Allah, and your favors upon us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, each and everyone in this gathering has certain degree of, Ya Allah, ambitions to do certain things, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, fulfill all the jais and the permissible ambitions. Ya Allah, each and everyone has certain challenges. You know the challenges more than anyone. Ya Allah, remove each and everyone's challenges, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whoever in this gathering and from amongst the ummah, Ya Allah, is in need, Ya Allah, of risk, Ya Allah, grant them halal risk. Ya Allah, we are going through difficult times and turmoils in our country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make it easy for people in their businesses and their employment. Ya Allah, grant them halal risk. Ya Allah, grant people, Ya Allah, and grant us all, Ya Allah, barakah in our risk, Ya Allah. Grant us blessings, Ya Allah. Grant us contentment, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, keep us away from haram, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are living in this particular country where there are so many challenges, Ya Allah. There is a challenge of crime, Ya Allah. There is a challenge of lack of infrastructure, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there is a challenge of, Ya Allah, lack of good governance, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you change the conditions of this country, Ya Allah. Keep us away from crime, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, keep us away from being violated, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Allah. Protect our children, Ya Allah. Protect our wives and our families, Ya Allah. Protect our wealth, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, give good governance to this country, Ya Allah. Bring justice to this country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, let us play a role in this particular country, Ya Allah. Let us play a role for the goodness of this country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, wherever the Muslims in the past went, Ya Allah, they always left a positive message, Ya Allah. They always left a positive example. Ya Allah, let us be a positive example for our people in this country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we have failed to do so. We have not been able to show the people the beauty of Islam. We have not been able to show the beauty of the deen of your beloved, Ya Allah. The deen of yours, Ya Allah. We have not been able to show it to the people, Ya Allah. Forgive us for the shortcomings. Ya Allah, allow us to be able to recoup, Ya Allah, with regard to that particular shortcoming and be able to show in practice and deed, Ya Allah, the beauty of your religion, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, to play a role with regard to the betterment and the upliftment of this country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whoever is in need of getting married, Ya Allah, grant them compatible spouses, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whoever is in need of getting children, Ya Allah, grant them pious children, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whoever has children, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect our children and our grandchildren from all types of calamities, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect them from spiritual and physical calamities, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, never let us see the difficulty of our children, Ya Allah. Never let us see the difficulty of our children, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect them from all fitnas, Ya Allah. Let us see our children always happy, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect them from all types of, Ya Allah, fitna, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, jannibna wa auladana min al-fawahish wal-fitan. Ma zahara minha wa ma batan. Ya Allah, give good to our children, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, those who are ill, Ya Allah, grant them shifa kamila, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, the respected, the Imam of this masjid, Ya Allah, whom we always used to look forward to meet on this occasion, Ya Allah. He is ill, Ya Allah, grant him shifa kamila, Ya Allah. Grant all of those, our near and dear ones who are ill, Ya Allah, grant them complete shifa, Ya Allah. Grant them speedy recovery, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make the means for their recovery, Ya Allah. Make the means for their shifa, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make it easy with regard to their shifa and grant them shifa with afiyat, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whoever is in any type of other type of difficulty, remove that difficulty, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, have mercy upon our ulama, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bring unity amongst the ulama in our country, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, let us have, Ya Allah, clarity of vision and unity in purpose, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, those ulama of ours, Ya Allah, through whom we have received deen, Ya Allah, we have passed on, Ya Allah. Fill their qabr with nur, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, elevate their status, Ya Allah. Those ulama who are still alive amongst us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, keep their shadows, Ya Allah, for a long time over us, Ya Allah, with mercy, kindness and compassion, Ya Allah. As your beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was known for those qualities. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. It was a rahmat of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he was kind and considerate, Ya Allah, to the ummah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there are many things that we are supposed to ask of you, Ya Allah, because of our forgetfulness. Ya Allah, in our ignorance, Ya Allah, we have not been able to ask, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us all good, Ya Allah, which is for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, ask us and grant us the good that we have been able to ask from you, Ya Allah. Grant us the good, Ya Allah, that we have not been able to ask of you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, deen ka bol bala farma, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bring about hidayat for people, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bring the people to turn towards the righteousness of your deen, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you have said, Inna deena inda Allahi al-Islam. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَا يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. Ya Allah, we interact with people, Ya Allah. We know this particular ayat. We believe in this particular ayat. We know people from other particular situations, Ya Allah. Give hidayat to them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, bring them closer towards deen. Perhaps we have not been able to show them the beauty of our deen. Forgive our shortcomings. Ya Allah, you intervene directly and you call them towards Islam. Ya Allah, there is nothing difficult for you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you can bring people upon deen, Ya Allah. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. You had this, Ya Allah, where people in droves were accepting Islam. Ya Allah, make it happen once again a reality, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, wherever Muslims have been persecuted, Ya Allah, make it easy for them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, wherever they have been persecuted, make it easy for them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant goodness to this ummah, Ya Allah. And Ya Allah, lastly, Ya Allah, never leave us for a moment without your assistance, without your guide, without your protection in every endeavor, in every moment, in every step of our life. قال الله تعالى في شأن حبيبي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك على الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات إنك على كل شيء قدير سبحان ربنا رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.